Hey everybody, welcome back to Brain Power. I am your host Bowen and you are watching episode 10. This is an interview with James Hotson of Katara.AI. Katara is a builder subnet within the Morpheus network ecosystem who is focused on AI-powered workflow automation. We are going to cover all things Katara and decentralized AI - Morpheus network ecosystem. But before we do, as always, if you are listening to this and you are enjoying Brain Power and want to support us, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel on whatever platform it is you're using, whether that be YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, X, or any other platform that you're consuming Brain Power on. We appreciate it very much, and your like and subscription goes a long way. With that being said, let's dive into it. Today's Brain Power, episode 10 with James Hotson.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
You're listening to Brain Power.
James Hotson from Katara, thank you for being the second builder subnet to come on Brain Power. I want to dive into just everything Katara. I want to go into the backstory of you and the team, how you decided to build what you are building, and then also why you chose Morpheus and kind of what those integration points look like, both from a tech stack perspective and then also from a community perspective, as you're looking to attract people to stake to your subnet. So for those who are listening for the first time, Katara is a builder subnet, and it is focused around AI workflow automation. So with that, I will let James dive right into it.
Bowen, thanks so much for having us. Really excited to launch our Builder Subnet on Morpheus. We're really excited to be in the top 10 of projects that have been staked. And a little backstory on Katara and our company. We do build AI agents and we set up agentic AI workflows. And so we help companies adopt AI. And one of the best ways that our Web3 companies are using our platform is to automate really tedious, repetitive tasks. And so when you think about that, what does every single Web3 company struggle with is getting awareness about their project, getting people to understand what they're all about, what the software actually does. And it doesn't matter where that person is in their journey. If it's a new person, everyone kind of has the same questions on, if I'm brand new to Morpheus. Oh, what is Morpheus? Where do I find out information? What's up with the token? Like, where do I find the builder subnet? All those questions we can start to automate. And so we're using AI to build responses in real time to these customers and answering like a real human with these one-to-one conversations. And so I'm really excited about where the platform's going and the way that people are adopting AI agents. But we can literally build an AI agent that jumps into your Discord and answers every question perfectly off of all the documentation specific to Morpheus or specific to any company on our platform. So yeah, that's a little bit about our company in general.
And so is the agentic flows that are specifically targeted at like B2B or B2P, like business to business or business to product, where people are then integrating with Katara. So like you said, they can have an agent that answers basically all the general community questions. That's kind of the like niche focus, if I'm correct.
That's our beachhead strategy, is how do we build some AI agents that can be actionable and deliver value right away. Our long-term vision is to allow people to build different types of agents on our platform. And we have these kind of playbooks or these recipes that are set up. And so you can get all the different AIs that would help a DevRel really have superpowers. And then you get kind of a DevRel as a service AI agent that can be alongside your current community manager or dev relations person, and just allowing them to be a lot more effective. They can scale the company 10x as the project grows 10x without having to scale themselves 10 times. It's pretty amazing. And we're just not limiting it to one little focus, but that's where a lot of people are getting a lot of value right now.
Got it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to get to is that is like the main place that people are leveraging Katara. Currently, it's not necessarily the only place you could. So within Morpheus, what's funny about this in the context of the Morpheus community is, if you're familiar, do you know Anton? Are you familiar with Anton in the Discord? So he is a very active community member, and there was a running joke for a long time that Anton was a bot. actually,
You're
because
right.
he's just so well informed and also so quick to respond. But this is basically allowing like Morpheus or any community to have an Anton as a bot that can pull all of the information that you need, which is, first of all, shout out to Anton. But that is no, that's extremely cool. Another like thing that comes to mind for me is my background was in traditional finance in the hedge fund space, and due diligence questionnaires and being able to keep a like repository of responses to frequently asked questions from investors or prospective investors was such a pain point for every fund that I worked for. That it is exactly solving that, basically. And think about it, like it could be, not that I need to tell you this, but just for people listening, this could be applied to any type of business or product. I love that you're focused on Web3 specifically, but really anybody that has a client, another business, or somebody that they need continuous information and have, questions that they can train it on, it like becomes that like library of information to just tap into automatically.
Yep, and we're exploring that right now. We have a project with a company that does government programs and applying to get the government grants or get their government bid accepted. It's tedious. It's the same form, same types of questions, all the time. Same thing with any RFPs for your traditional, Web 2 type company. All those RFPs can start to be automated. And what I love is you can put the LLM on top so you can really personalize it. You can really get the right answers and excuse me, like no hallucinations, like all the best stuff on the way that we built our infrastructure for all this AI. And one thing that I really love is you can take Anton and you can make Anton an expert. We can flag all of Anton's responses, and now Anton can take a break. He can still be in there when he wants.
You can literally. You could literally like train it on someone's actual real life responses. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's really cool. So we can take all of Anton's great responses and be like, man, this guy answers everything perfectly all the time. And then when he's sleeping and people ask questions that he would normally answer, we could respond and we could even cite, hey, we know Anton wrote this previously. Here's the response to your question. So it's really powerful and really cool.
What does that integration look like right now for like maybe businesses or people that want to leverage Katara? Like, are they coming to you guys directly and you're helping them with a deployment, or is there a tool where they can kind of deploy it themselves?
We're still gated right now. We're still in our private invite only. So if you go to the app.katara, you will have to enter a secret code that we have to give you. With that, our vision is to be self-serve very soon, maybe in the next 2 months, 3 months, we can have self-serve completely onboarded. But to get going, it's actually very easy. The first thing we need to do is we need to create a knowledge base, a corpus. So when we did this with Morpheus, we can take all the data that's available on your website, all the data that's available publicly on your GitHub, all the data that's available on your documentation, ingest that all, and that gives us a great starting base. And that, that agent to set up takes about 30 seconds. You literally just drop URLs in. It's like a notebook LM style, or notebook ML style, drop your links. So that will give us the knowledge base that we need. And then to install it in a Discord or a Telegram, it's just configuring that agent. And that, again, is about a minute, 90-second process of just like turning it on and enabling the agent in the system. So it's really quick to get started. We had Wired Network get started in about 30 minutes to an hour. They had a bot running and answering questions and answering it really well. And then from there, we could tune things like confidence level, and we could tune what channels it's into and improve the knowledge that it has, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. What about the connection with Morpheus? So I hope that the connection ultimately is to leverage the Morpheus compute router to have decentralized compute for these agents. So basically, the user owns their data and can leverage that however they want. Is that kind of the plan? Like, can you speak to the subnet, and then also what the incentives are for stakers, or if there are any incentives that are maybe coming down the line that don't exist quite yet?
Yeah, I think of us as kind of a Sherpa for AI. How do we remove all the friction from adopting AI, and how do we make it really easy? And so one of the things I love about work with Morpheus, and the reason we wanted to build a subnet, was part because of what you mentioned, but part because I really like the concept of staking for access. And so companies can stake their more tokens, and the thresholds they're fairly high, but if you stake 1,000 more tokens, we'll give you access to the product. If you stake 1,500 more tokens, you'll get access to Katara, plus we'll give you 10 hours of a fractional DevRel to help you get best practices and get all set up. And we haven't had anyone stake 2,000 yet, but if you stake 2,000, we would remove all the usage caps. And so, that's how we're doing it right now until someone completely takes advantage and exploits all the usage caps. But you can stake your more tokens and get access to a very cool AI agent that will solve a bunch of pain points and problems for your company. And I really like that concept as a business, because our benefit is more customers are using our tool. We earn more by having people stake towards our project. They put their tokens to use. Like it's just like a triple win. And I really love that concept. And then long term, you're one of the few companies that is so AI forward. I love the stuff that you guys are doing with projects like Venice. I love, a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing with decentralized AI. So I think that there's a lot that we can do together, and we're just getting started with, a bunch of different fun projects.
Yeah, so just to reiterate for people listening, and this is one of the genius things about the Morpheus ecosystem is exactly what you were just describing. If you are a person, a project, a business, and you want to leverage Katara, you can do so by staking, it sounds like at the low end, 1,000 more tokens, which today at approximately like $8.50 a token, something like $8,500, in order to access their tool perpetually, which is allowing Katara, at least, within limits. If you want to be the first one to exploit the limit caps, go for it. I would love for that to be a problem, only because it means that there's adoption. But basically, if you have that stake, let's call it $8,500 and more tokens that you're staking to Katara, Katara is earning emissions from the Morpheus protocol for that stake that you've provided, which is how they're being compensated. You're getting access to the tool, but you still own the underlying more tokens versus spending US dollars out of pocket directly to a business to use their product or service. That's money that you're never getting back. So I hate to use the word equity because it starts to cross this like chasm into like, oh, we're talking about Web2 companies now, which we aren't. But if you look at like the individual product or service as like you by staking to it are buying equity in that product or service because you're able to tap into it with still owning the underlying principal. If for some reason you decide to draw your capital, or in this case, more tokens back down later, that's really the genius of this. Because you can, in essence, if you're bullish on the Morpheus ecosystem anyway, you can, in essence, leverage these tools, allow the developers to get paid for it, and still have your investment in the ecosystem all at once, which you'd say is kind of that win-win-win situation. Like that's what that creates.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And it enables more time and energy towards AI, and that enables us to come up with better use cases and better usability and make it easier for customers to adopt.
Are you able to speak to the types of models or what you're tapping into right now for the inference?
So one thing I love about our platform is like almost anyone with 5 seconds and an access to cursor can create an AI agent. You just write a prompt, create me an AI agent, and it can do it for you. Like that's not that hard. You plug in your OpenAI key, you can use OpenAI with that agent, and you can have it run on your local machine. That's not that difficult to do today. What we're helping solve for is all the AI infrastructure. How do you set up Pinecone? How do you set up your RAG? How do you make sure that your systems are working all together? And that's, I think, the value that we're bringing. And then we're agnostic on the LLM side. So if you come to us, you say, hey, I want to run this with OpenAI. Great. I want to run it with Anthropic. Okay, no problem. You want to run DeepSeek? Fine. And we've engineered it in a way where it's the platform is architected almost as containers. So you can take what you need to then run and use those AI agents. We have one company working on us right now to update all of their technical documentation in real time based off of their most recent code releases. And so their tech docs are never out of date, which the benefit there is when you're a developer-focused company, better tech docs, better answers, more development, quicker. So it's really a revenue generation accelerating tool. But we're constantly feeding these tech documentation updates and generating that content for them, and they can run with it, which I absolutely love. And, for them, we can run it through OpenAI, Gemini, Anthropic, and depending on the style of tech doc, the different LLM actually performs a little bit better. A how-to guide might be a little bit better in an OpenAI model versus a more technical documentation that's more code focused with code snippets might be better in something from Sonnet. And so it's really interesting to kind of see how you get the optimal performance out of, what you're after.
Yeah, I just think about how individuals, it's like small business owners even could leverage this, because if somebody's a small business owner that's like selling something direct to consumer where they're constantly answering questions for consumers, they can just make themselves an agent and give their clients access to it. And obviously, like, you'll want some type of guardrail, right? Or some type of disclaimer being like, hey, this is not legal advice, or this is not, insurance advice, or whatever it is. But it's at least like a starting point so you can get some of the answers you want and then get in touch with me directly as the licensed professional to, answer the question that you're looking for. But like, it takes off that workload of doing that. But it's also so convenient for the client, because what if the client has a question at 11:30 p.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Like, they don't need to wait for you. I don't need to wait to get in touch with my accountant if my accountant has an agent that can answer a simple question for me, which, again, like, there's going to be some regulatory gray area with this type of thing. But like, it's still such a helpful tool.
Yeah. And I think, I'm encouraging companies to just drop their playbooks in there. So if you have a sales playbook with a sales FAQ, drop it in there. If you have a customer support FAQ, just drop it in there. We actually do this with Katara itself. When we have new clients, we have a running list of questions that they ask. We've written nice responses. And my personal goal is to only answer every question one time, because after I write that answer, I drop it into our own rag, and then every customer can have access to that. So if you're in our Discord or our Telegram, you can get those really specific, really detailed answers that you're looking for that actually unblock you. And I like the way you put it, of not having to wait. I kind of see it as like you're unblocking them when they're in the mode of actually building, or in the mode of actually tackling that work, which is almost more important than like, oh, you took an hour to respond. It's like, no, you were like, you had the context to complete the task that you were trying to do, and we helped you solve that in real time, which is amazing.
I'm realizing that as I'm building out the Builder Subnet for Brainpower and for the podcast, I'm realizing that I could make an FAQ of the Brainpower episodes, basically of any like interview we've had talking about whatever the thing is, that somebody could just interact with to be like, hey, what did that person say about this, or what? And you could actually upload the transcripts from the episode and do like a Q&A. Oh, that's interesting.
We're probably, I don't know how quickly you're going to air all these, but this is something that
this week.
So I don't know if it'll be ready by next week, but it should be ready within 2 weeks, 3 weeks of having video to getting the transcript and uploading it, and that being a seamless, automated process. So, it's really.
I don't know, guys. I heard James say that this is going to be out by the time this episode's released.
Yeah, exactly. Go tell my other two co-founders I'm promising stuff on podcasts that now engineering doesn't have to sleep for 2 weeks.
Perfect. No, that sounds exciting though. Okay, so you'll be able to take eventually. We'll just say eventually down the line, you'll be able to take video. It'll transcribe it, and then you can actually turn that into, I guess, would it be a rag, or add it to your rag so that
you're just adding it to we call it collections. So there's kind of like, you have your general knowledge base, and then you have collections within those. And so if you wanted to create a Brainpower collection that was specific to Brainpower, that didn't need all the Morpheus content, it could live in one standalone collection, and then you could have that deployed in a specific channel within Discord or however you like to use it. And give me another 2 weeks, and we should have our website, our web chat functionality. So if you're on, this, we'll probably be piloting this with Partisia at first. But if you go to the docs page for Partisia, you should be able to chat, hey, this is my problem. And it would sift through all 300 tech doc pages to find that answer that you need right away. So we're just, shortening that time to get the developer the answer that they need.
Awesome. That's amazing. Do you guys have any, I'm sure, well, I was going to say, like, are you able to talk about some of the people that are leveraging this right now? I know you've mentioned a couple already, or maybe like types of projects or businesses that you would love to see leverage this that maybe haven't quite yet?
I'm really excited to see, one, I think anyone with the Discord server that's like over 1,000 people could get a ton of value out of it, because you just, no matter what, you have a good amount of engagement in there, and you can start to onboard and talk to customers in a nice way. That's not like it's better than your standard chatbot that you're used to, because you're training it on your own data, which is the really big unlock. I'm excited to see Wire Network and how they're using it in their Discord. Partisia is going to be using it on their site eventually. Right now, we're doing all their tech doc optimizations. And then there's 3 or 4 more. We're working with one of the top 10 crypto projects. I can't tell you, their name just yet, but we just onboarded them. We did their kickoff call yesterday, Monday, and so I'm really excited about getting that live and people starting to really see the Katara name quite a bit as we're helping them. But the 2 main functions right now that we're helping people with are support. So any sort of developer support, real-time question and answer. And then the other one is updating technical documentation in real time, because every single business has that problem. It's like your product isn't static. Your development environment isn't static. It's always evolving. And so your tech doc shouldn't be that thing that's like left and forgotten about.
Well, and I love that you guys are making this really easy. I think that's the thing, because a lot of, like, I know for myself, as somebody who's a little like less technical than a lot of people building in this space, I would look at this concept and be like, okay, I can fundamentally like understand why this is so important, but trying to build it myself, I would have no idea where to start doing it.
Right.
And so the fact that you guys are making a system that's like almost plug and play, that's incredible. Also, okay, I'm going to just start reading 1 through 10 in market cap and just tell me when to stop. All right. No, I'm joking.
Well, yeah.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I did pull it up. As you said that, I'm looking through it and I'm like,
I actually haven't looked today, so it might be top 12, but they're a very big project and I'm really excited about them.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. But no, that's amazing. I'm super happy to hear that for you guys. And I love that you're doing it, Morpheus native. I know it's the business Katara itself exists prior to Morpheus existing, but I love that it's an integration. And it's a good example of, I have yet to find a project or a business or somebody who's building within AI that can't leverage the Morpheus ecosystem in some way, shape, or form. And that's like one of the things that's beautiful about the project is it really agnostic to how you use the code, capital, or compute. It's basically saying, hey, we have people who are offering these 3 things in one capacity or another. How that best integrates with what you're doing is for you to figure out. And oh, by the way, it's permissionless. You can just do it. You didn't need anyone's permission to be a builder subnet, or to provide compute or to consume compute. And so I love that you guys are like some of the pioneers in leveraging that and seeing the value behind that. I think it's really cool. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how different communities and the community within Morpheus continues to support Katara. And just to reiterate, so right now the tiers for staking, in order to obtain the service, it's 1,000 more, 1,500, and 2,000 being kind of like the highest tier.
Minimum 1,000 staked will get you access. And I also really like the February price of the More token when it was closer to 21 or 22. So we think of it as like $20,000 of value that we're giving for access to the platform. And then at 1,500, you get DevRel for 10 hours a month. And that person is just like a super DevRel. And that's really beneficial for maybe the projects that have one person who's like, managing all the support channels and all the things. Because we can just come in and give you best practices and strategies. And then, if you're really bullish on Katara and you want to take advantage of everything and, blow up our platform and use all the inference, you can stake 2,000 and, you get a ton of value with that one because there's no caps on that plan.
For a builder or somebody that could be a potential client of yours who's listening to this, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
You can go to our website, Katara.AI. You can email hello@Katara.AI. And if you email me and you really want to take a sneak peek at the platform, we'll send you back a code so you can get access to see what's going on the actual platform itself. Our Twitter's great. Katara.AI is also our Twitter. Across the board, we're just Katara.AI. So pretty easy to find. And then we're also, you can find us on the Morpheus Ecosystem board as well. So if you want to stake your tokens there, you can see us. We're pretty high up on the list, which I like.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And yeah, if anyone's listening to this too, and I'm happy to help make the connection too. If somebody reaches out to me, reach out to them directly first, because it's always better if you get in touch with them directly. But if for some reason I can be helpful to anybody, I'm happy to do that. Awesome. Well, James, I really appreciate you jumping on. Is there anything else you want to hit on for Katara just in general?
I mean, anytime you think about AI agents, think about Katara. It's just our beachhead strategy to work with DevX teams. So we have a really big vision for the product. And even so, I know some of the stuff that Morpheus is doing. I would love our Katara agents to even live in your platform, right? So people could unlock them, our pre-built, agents ready to rock through Morpheus. So I think there's a lot of fun things we can do. And I'm always excited, what's going to come next week with the next new launch and, how people are using AI. So it moves quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, it moves so fast. Yeah, I was about to say it moves faster than we even realize, I think.
Yep, I 100% agree.
Awesome. Well, thanks, James. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you again to James and Katara.AI for jumping on this episode of Brain Power. It was awesome to dive into their Builder Subnet and everything going on, as well as what the incentives are for more stakers to stake to their Builder Subnet. I hope you consider doing so, and who knows, maybe their agent workflow will be the one that takes your project, business, or other thing that you're working on to the next level, and you'll be able to leverage decentralized AI through the Morpheus compute router in doing so. Lastly, this is the part of the episode, again, that no content creator ever likes, but we have to do anyway. If you are enjoying Brainpower and want to support us further, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel on whatever platform it is you're using to consume it, and staking more tokens to the Brainpower Builder Subnet on the Morpheus Ecosystem Builder dashboard. As always, I'm your host, Bowen, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
You're listening to Brainpower.